This is you. This is your family. If you're Jewish and live here, your family might originally be from here or here. There's also a pretty good chance your family used to be from here. The reason your Twitter feed doesn't look like this is because way back before Twitter was invented, thousands of Jews moved from their homes here to here. And this is that story. It might even be your story. Being a Jew in 19th century Europe wasn't easy, especially here. Most Christian societies persecuted Jews for their different religious beliefs, making their lives miserable and trying to get Jews to give up Judaism. There were laws about where Jews could live and work, where they could go, and what they could wear. Children as young as 12 were forced into the army, where they were bullied, beaten, and pressured to convert to Christianity. The government even set up an office for weakening Jewish national identity. But then came a new Russian Tsar, Alexander II. He spread reform and promoted equality, and it seemed like things might get better for the Jews. Meanwhile, in Western Europe, the French Revolution started a trend of Jewish equality. The Jews, who had been denied basic rights for so long, were starting to gain new rights, being allowed to get citizenship, live where they wanted, go to college, get better jobs, and join political parties. Now, don't get too excited. This freedom wasn't all free. Countries may have allowed Jewish emancipation, but they expected something in return, a kind of unspoken condition. In order to be treated like everyone else, you must become like everyone else. To be true Frenchmen, Germans, or Austrians, you must give up this idea that Jews are a separate people with their own national identity. As Count de Clermont-Tonnerre of France put it, to the Jews as a nation, nothing. To the Jews as individuals, everything. The existence of a nation within a nation is unacceptable to our country. To many Jews, giving up some or all of their Jewish identity seemed worth the sacrifice, if in return they got acceptance, equality, and the chance to succeed. Or so they thought. But soon, anti-Semitism squashed the possibility of acceptance and equality. Beginning in Germany with a new pseudo-scientific term, anti-Semitism spread as people and governments across Europe rejected Jews for being not only religiously inferior, but also racially inferior. Despite this, many Jews felt they could still end anti-Semitism if they just stopped being so different. Then, France experienced the Dreyfus Affair. In a sham trial, a Paris court convicted Albert Dreyfus, an assimilated Jewish military officer, of being a spy. The people of Paris took to the streets to protest against the Jews. This was France, the first country to emancipate the Jews. But Paris, that modern cultured city, was taken over by anti-Semitism. There was a growing number of Jews in Western Europe, including the future leader of the Zionist movement, Theodor Herzl, who began to believe that no matter how French, German, or Austrian they became, they were still going to be treated like outsiders. There were also many Jews who chose to look the other way. As individuals, their lives were freer and more secure than their parents had been, and they hoped things would still get better. Around this time, Eastern Europeans' liberal policies were also breaking down after Tsar Alexander II was assassinated. Having a clear enemy is always good for morale, and the government quickly spread a rumor that the Jews had killed the Tsar. With the wholehearted help of the media, they kicked off an era of fierce anti-Semitism. The new Tsar made major cities Jew-free and passed laws that once again cut Jews off from education, business, and voting. Soon, a wave of savage attacks against Jews spread all across Russia, inspiring another new word: pogrom. Over 200 pogroms broke out against Jewish communities, with mobs looting, murdering, and raping. Thousands were wounded and killed. Anti-Semitism was rising over the entire region. This was a turning point for the Jews of Europe. How the Jews responded to this era of anti-Semitism would determine their future as Jews. So what did the Jews of Europe do? Stay tuned to find out.